Welcome to N3 Primetime, everyone. Angie here, and do we have a power-packed night for you? Gary is still on a secret mission, and Elijah Schaffer is on deck, ready to dive deep into President Biden's jaw-dropping $40 billion budget proposal, with a whopping $24 billion directed at Ukraine. And can you believe it? Senator Joe Manchin possibly making the biggest switch of his political career. They're tracking the heat as the inflation burns holes in pockets, and the House Oversight Committee, they're cranking up the heat as well on President Biden's family's finances. Maui's tragic fire will leave you heartbroken and inspired. Don't go anywhere, because later on, we've got the Prime Tweets segment, diving deep into your thoughts and looking at you. Oh, we've spotlighted someone making waves, so stay tuned and rev up for a thrilling evening. Elijah, over to you to unravel these headlines.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to N3 Primetime. I'm Elijah Schaffer, back again on my most favorite news channel, the Next News Network. Now, tonight's stories are more than just headlines. They're pivotal reflections of the heartbeats of Americans from coast to coast. From President Biden's colossal budget proposal that has the world watching to Senator Manchin's potential political pivot, these are tales of our nation's shifting priorities, the very core of our values, and the direction in which we're steering our ship. Speaking of directions, let me use an analogy here. Picture our nation's economy as a ship, heading straight into the storm called inflation. Since the 70s, that ship, our US dollar, has seen a staggering 85% drop in its value. And with the looming political events, there's a chance of even more choppy waters ahead as the government might unleash waves of printed money. But there's an anchor that historically holds fast. It's gold. Just as gold remains steadfast amidst market turmoil, Noble Gold Investments is your port in the storm. By investing with them, you secure a piece of stability. And for our N3 Primetime viewers, well, good news, you get a free quarter-ounce gold standard coin that's awaiting you. Simply visit noblegoldinvestments.com or dial 1-877-646-5347. Make sure your ship stays steady. Now steering back to our main course tonight, let's anchor in with Angie. Angie, which stories are you navigating our viewers through this evening?
Tonight, I've got a mix of suspense, controversy, and heartwarming heroism. Is DeSantis' 2024 presidential bid losing its momentum to a rising GOP star? How will the recent revelations surrounding Biden's potential involvement in Hunter's business endeavors reshape perceptions? Bernie Sanders is under the spotlight as campaign funds draw scrutiny. In a much-needed break from political turbulence, watch how Florida's lifeguards become real-life heroes in an exhilarating rescue caught on camera. And lastly, the political world is abuzz. Will President Trump grace the upcoming GOP debate? Tonight, we dive into these narratives, peeling back the layers to understand why these stories matter to you and our great nation. Now, to kick things off with the first special report of the night, I'll hand it back to you, Elijah.
All right, let's jump into it. Now for the real news. Our country is currently grappling with issues close to home. Hurricanes on the horizon, wildfires tearing apart our land, and borders requiring immediate attention. Yet a staggering $40 billion of your tax money is what President Biden and his administration are now demanding. More startling is a majority of it is intended to go overseas, specifically to Ukraine. We know backing allies is essential, but as we dive deeper into the special report, ask yourself, when is it time to put America first? Stay with us, because by the end, our final thoughts might just make you see things in a light the mainstream media avoids. The $40 billion figure isn't just any number, it's a statement of the current administration's priorities. With that, let's break down where this immense amount is proposed to go, as described in OMB Director Shalanda Young's letter to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. First up is Ukraine. It's undeniable that the situation in Ukraine is unfortunate. With Russia's unrelenting aggression, the Biden administration proposes sending a whopping $24 billion more towards Ukraine's cause. Not happy about that. Now, this includes $13 billion for defense funds alone, with billions more directed at ensuring Ukraine doesn't have to seek financial aid from, say, China. While the sentiment is noble, it beckons the question, how much assistance is too much, especially when our homeland has its own pressing concerns? There are voices within the Republican Party already questioning the sustainability of such aid, particularly when there's no end in sight to the conflict. And while there's bipartisan support for Ukraine, it's essential to analyze the long-term implications of this financial commitment. Next is disaster relief. Now shifting our attention home, the White House has marked $12 billion for disaster relief. This isn't just about tragic wildfires that we've witnessed, but about preparing for upcoming natural calamities. It's needed indeed. Yet when juxtaposed against foreign aid, one wonders if we're truly allocating enough to our homeland's immediate needs. With hurricane season impending and FEMA projected to face a significant deficit, the allocation might seem lackluster. And the third request, shockingly, is for a border and migration. Here's where things are about to get tricky. Approximately $4 billion is aimed at bolstering our border and addressing migration issues. The Biden administration has been adamant about their commitment to overhauling the immigration system. However, is this mere lip service or is there genuine intent? The breakdown reveals $2.2 billion for border management and remainder for other crucial needs, including countering fentanyl trafficking. The White House stands firm, suggesting that they're working with a broken immigration system, yet OMB Director Shalanda Young's letter to Speaker Kevin McCarthy revealed the overreaching sentiment remains. The current system is dysfunctional, but it's on Congress to amend our immigration laws. The administration seems to be pushing responsibility, but aren't they the one in the driver's seat? In the midst of all of these numbers and proposals, it's essential to consider a crucial element: transparency. The Biden administration, with its repeated requests, seems to have an insatiable desire for more funds. As cited by a senior official, the White House won't be bashful about approaching Congress for more funding in the future. But where does this leave the American taxpayer? In essence, this isn't just about Ukraine, disaster relief, or border management alone. It's about the American people, where their hard-earned money is being directed and in the administration's priorities align with the nation's most pressing needs. As you ponder on these allocations, recall the words of a wise man who once said, "A nation that forgets its immediate needs and stretches beyond its means often finds itself in peril." As we wrap up tonight's special report, it's essential to circle back to the heart of the matter. Where should America's priorities lie? In a world teeming with issues, challenges, and demands, the choices our leadership makes profoundly impacts our nation's direction. Yes, international partnerships are vital, but must they come at the potential detriment of domestic needs? At a time when our nation battles internal calamities, a reevaluation is paramount. The recent $40 billion request brings to light a significant divide: the needs of our homeland versus international obligations. America, it's your money, your future, and your voice that matters. And maybe, just maybe, it's time that we remind our lifelong politicians of this very fact. Perhaps a change in the tenure of our representatives could usher in a new era of truly America First policies. The numbers are in, and DeSantis dips to a third place. Angie has more.
Thanks, Elijah. Let's get into the news. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' 2024 presidential bid has been overshadowed as Vivek Ramaswamy, a conservative newcomer, clinches second place in the GOP race. Signals poll shows Ramaswamy leading DeSantis, indicating a shift towards fresh GOP candidates. While President Trump leads with 53%, DeSantis' recent challenges, including campaign missteps and controversial comments about Trump's 2020 loss, have weakened his stance. Conversely, Ramaswamy has gained traction, notably by pledging to pardon Trump amidst his legal issues. As DeSantis struggles to maintain support, the upcoming Republican National Committee debate could be Ramaswamy's chance to further rise. With the GOP field in flux, the 2024 campaign promises twists and turns. Dive deeper, get the whole story by tapping the link in our bio. Now to Elijah to tell us about Manchin's political power play.
Now for the real news. Picture the U.S. Senate as a chessboard. Each move is calculated, each piece invaluable. Now imagine the game changer. Senator Joe Manchin, his recent contemplation of switching party allegiances might just be the most significant political maneuver in recent times. As the dust settles, the landscape of power in Washington might never look the same again, and in the wake of concerns about political extremes and the perceived decline in the branding of both major parties, Manchin's switch might be the wake-up call America didn't know it needed. Don't move a muscle, because by the end of this special report, you'll understand the gravity of this potential shift, and you absolutely can't afford to miss our final thought. In the grand theater of American politics, Senator Joe Manchin stands out not just as a Democrat, but as a political enigma, often defying party lines. As a pivotal player from West Virginia, Manchin's decision to consider a switch from the Democratic Party to an independent status sends a clear message. The political tides are shifting. Take a look.
Senator Joe Manchin says he is, quote, thinking seriously about leaving the Democratic Party and declaring himself an independent before the 2024 election, when he will have to decide whether to run for a fourth Senate term or wage a third-party bid for president. Manchin, who earlier this year described himself as an independent Democrat, told a West Virginia radio host today that the Democratic brand has, quote, become so bad. However, he also noted that he's not ready to make an announcement about his future with the party immediately. Manchin says he will decide at the end of the year whether to run for a fourth Senate term or run for president as a third-party candidate backed by No Labels, a bipartisan centrist group that plans to raise $70 million to put an independent third-party candidate on the presidential ballot next year.
Now, his concerns are not unfounded. As Manchin himself puts it, there's an evident tarnishing of the DNR brands. More Americans now echo his sentiments, longing for an era where bipartisan cooperation trumped party politics. And with Manchin's emphasis on the importance of preserving his independent voice, the winds of change seem to be picking up speed. However, just as gold maintains its value, even as paper money fluctuates, the political landscape requires anchors that retain their integrity amid chaos. Speaking of gold and stability, here's an interesting parallel. The US dollar has lost tremendous value since the 70s, when its ties with gold were severed. With political uncertainty ahead and the government's inclination to print endless money, inflation surges seem inevitable. But much like Senator Manchin seeking stability in these tumultuous times, Americans can find security in gold by investing with Noble Gold Investments, in one such step toward stability. In fact, you'll even receive a free 24-karat quarter-ounce gold standard coin when you invest. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com, or dial 1-877-646-5347, a trusted gold company, just as you'd trust a genuine political leader. Continuing Manchin's potential switch goes beyond more speculation. Considering his pivotal role in opposing significant aspects of Joe Biden's progressive blueprint, this possible departure isn't out of the blue. While he's always been the centrist, the middle ground between D and R extremes, his recent admission about considering the switch speaks volumes about the undercurrents in Washington. The senator candidly stated that I would very seriously think about becoming independent. I've been thinking about that for quite some time. Amid these revelations, whispers of a third-party presidential bid have also grown louder. Attending an No Labels event in New Hampshire, Manchin didn't dismiss the possibility. Watch.
Democrats, get off your high horse. Republicans, get off your high horse. Get off this extreme left and extreme right and start working for us. And if there's no movement and no voice in the middle, I'll guarantee you they'll stay where they are.
Responding to concerns over how his potential bid might impact Biden, Manchin countered, saying, I don't see that favoring either side because you just can't tell how this is going to break. Manchin's tenure has showcased his commitment to bridge the widening chasm of partisan politics. He aims to spotlight the extremes from both sides that, according to him, are deteriorating the nation. When I do speak, I want to be able to speak honestly about the extremes of the Democrats and Republican Party that harm our nation, the senator declared. And as he navigates these political crossroads, Manchin's potential switch not only has implications for the Democratic Party, but symbolizes the broader sentiment of many Americans. They're tired of the divisive nature of politics, craving a system that prioritizes solutions over party loyalties. In the ever-evolving theater of American politics, one thing remains clear: the voice of the people matters. Senator Joe Manchin's potential move isn't just about a single man or about a single party. It represents a longing for unity, for reason, and for a government that truly reflects the diverse beliefs of its citizens. As this story unfolds, it begs the question, are we at the cusp of a new political era? An era where the age-old D and R labels makes way for more independent and centrist voices. It's a call to every American. Stay engaged, stay informed, and understand the nuances of the political landscape. For in these nuances lies the future of America. Embrace the change, question the extremes, and above all, hold on the core values that make this nation truly great. A reporter jumps a barrier to confront Biden? Well, tell us more, Angie.
Thank you, Elijah. Let's get into the news. A recent interaction between Fox News correspondent Peter Doocy and President Joe Biden has intensified scrutiny surrounding the latter's purported involvement in his son Hunter's business endeavors. This comes on the heels of Devin Archer's testimony indicating Biden's presence during related business discussions. a claim that starkly contrasts the president's earlier denials. Archer's revelations, coupled with evidence of correspondence with Biden, are stirring debates about potential abuse of soft power. With long-standing suspicions regarding the Biden family's ties to the Ukrainian business affairs, calls are growing louder for comprehensive media coverage and accountability. The heart of the matter extends beyond politics, challenging the very principles of governmental integrity and leadership priorities. Dive deeper, get the whole story by tapping the link in our bio. Our economy continues to struggle. Elijah has more.
Once again, our wallets are on the line. The latest July inflation report has landed, and let me tell you, it's an urgent call to all hardworking Americans. The numbers, while some may argue are moderate, have an underlying story that should have us all concerned. And as you sit on your couches tonight, gazing at the screen, pondering your family's future, and possibly worrying about the next big bill, stay tuned to the special report. You don't want to miss this because we're diving deep into the facts and figures, breaking down what these percentages mean for you, and stay till the end. The final thought, well, it's one that you, the backbone of this nation, deserve to hear. Last week, the Bureau of Labor Statistics dropped a bombshell on us. The Consumer Price Index rose by 3.2% in July compared to the same time last year. That's up from June's rate of 3%. Even CNBC, often one to downplay issues of the economy, admitted these numbers are moving in the wrong direction. Take a look.
Now, let's look at CPI year-over-year numbers. 3.2% on headline, 3.2. That's 0.2 higher than the 3% in the rearview mirror. And that 3% in the rearview mirror was the lowest since March of 21. So that's moving in the wrong direction.
Now, before we dive deeper, a quick word about something many of you might relate to, and you see why it's relevant in just a moment. With the weight of inflation weighing us down, it's a good time to talk about actual weight. According to the CDC, over 73% of adults have weight challenges. That's an understatement. Just like the economy, there's a solution to get back on track. Introducing a naturally sourced supplement to support your journey. Its prime ingredient is conjugated lyolinic acid, or simply CLA. CLA doesn't just sit around, it actively reduces fat storage and boosts fat breakdown, not unlike how we wish the government would manage inflation. Get yours today at a whopping 51% discount and added bonuses. Simply visit www.trimwithgary.com. Once again, it's www.trimwithgary.com. Now back to our main story. If we take a step back and exclude these volatile food and energy prices, we still see the core CPI increase by 0.2% for the month. Annually, that's a staggering 4.7%. The Dow Jones Consensus even predicted it to be 4.8%, so not far off. Now, what's the main culprit here? Shelter costs. It surged by 0.4% for the month and an eye-watering 7.7% year on year. A whopping 90% of the inflation hike can be attributed to this category alone. Let's not forget that the sector holds about 1/3 of the CPI's weight. Now, interestingly, even as crude prices skyrocketed, energy linched up by 0.1%, while food rose by 0.2%. Conversely, used vehicle prices decreased by 1.3%, and medical care services saw a dip of 0.4%. But there's a silver lining amidst this tumultuous inflation landscape. Real wages did see an uptick. They rose by 0.3% monthly, and if we look year over year, it's up by 1.1%. But one must wonder, will this be enough to cushion the ongoing inflation's blow? Here's something to consider. While the inflation rate has eased since the 40-year high last year, it still remains notably above the Federal Reserve's 2% comfort zone. This essentially translates to this: don't expect any interest rate cuts soon. Fox Business rightly pointed out that inflation we're witnessing is predominantly in essentials, things that as consumers we can't avoid buying. Take a look.
The inflation that we're seeing is in all the stuff that consumers really have no choice but to buy. So housing, energy, food, that continues to be the story.
Tiana Lowe Doshers from the Washington Examiner further highlighted the domino effect of the current inflation dilemma here.
The danger is we don't have many tools left, right? Let's just think about the compounding effects of this recent inflation crisis. Prices are up 16% since Joe Biden took office. For food, they're up 19%. For used car prices, up 30%. Electricity prices up 23%.
Alfred Ortiz, president and CEO of Job Creators Network, didn't hold back in his statement, pointing out that this is a clear indication that our fight against inflation is far from over. Regardless of what certain politicians and the media might assert, he stressed that inflation under Biden's term soared by over 16%, greatly surpassing average wage growth. And let's not forget the hardest hit, our small businesses. For them, inflation remains the biggest dread. To those watching tonight, this isn't just a tale of percentages and numbers. It's the tale of your daily struggles and of deciding between needs and wants, and sometimes even between essentials. This inflation report isn't just data on paper, it's the reality of dwindling savings, rising expenses, and the looming uncertainty for the future of our great nation. The numbers tell us that while we might have stabilized from the 40-year high, we're nowhere near stable ground. As the gears of this great American machine continue to turn, it's imperative that we keep ourselves informed, vigilant, and prepared, because, dear viewers, at the end of the day, it's not just about economics or politics, it's about our homes, our families, and our dreams. And for those, we must always strive, push back, and above all, persevere. Let's check back in with Angie for more details on Bernie Sanders' dirty secret.
Let's get into the news. Controversy surrounds Bernie Sanders after revelations that $200,000 of his campaign funds were allocated to his wife's nonprofit, the Sanders Institute. Founded in 2017, this institute, which claims to be a progressive think tank, drew scrutiny when tax documents highlighted significant wage payouts, including $152,653 to its executive director, David Driscoll. Concerns arose when the organization briefly suspended operations in 2019 amidst allegations of impropriety. Financial records from 2021 indicate notable contributions from Bernie's 2020 campaign and a nonprofit named Wend2 Inc. Amidst these revelations, voters are prompted to reassess Sanders' credibility. Dive deeper, get the whole story by tapping the link in our bio. Elijah, what can you tell us about Comer's big move?
In a turbulent political era, nothing comes as a shock anymore. But my fellow Americans, the developments surrounding our president and his family's business engagements may just be the most jaw-dropping yet. Imagine a web, intricate and vast, connecting millions of dollars, multiple countries, and yes, the very top of the American governance. The relentless pursuit by the House Oversight Committee and its chair, Representative James Comer, threatens to expose what many thought was safely concealed. The question every American should ask tonight: what does the Biden family have to hide, and why make sure to stick to the end of this special? To find out why, make sure you stick to the end of this special report. You will want to hear our final thought on this unfolding saga. The Biden family finds themselves in an increasingly tight corner of House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer as he intensifies his probe. The committee, delving deep into the intricate financial activities of the president's family, is now at the cusp of what could be the most revealing phase of his investigation, getting firsthand testimonies from the very members of the Biden family. In a recent statement, the relentless Comer stated that we are going to subpoena the family. We are putting together the case to win in court. Watch.
Going to subpoena Hunter Biden.
Yeah, this is always going to end with the Bidens coming in front of the committee. We are going to subpoena the family. I mean, we're putting the case together to win in court. Obviously, with all the opposition and obstruction we're getting from the Biden attorneys now, we know that this is going to end up in court when we subpoena the Biden. So we're putting together a case, and I think we've done that very well. We've shown the bank records. If I had subpoenaed Joe and Hunter Biden the first day I became chairman of the committee, it would have been tied up in court, and the judge would have eventually thrown it out, because at that time the narrative was, well, they never took any money while he was vice president. He never had any communication with his business associates, and the money never came from China. We've had to go every step of the way and prove the media narrative was wrong, and the vice president and the current president lied. We have caught Joe Biden in so many lies, I can't even count the number of lies now. So we have put together a case that I think would stand up in any court of law in America, and we hope to hear from the Biden soon. But I wish the media would ask the president, what exactly did your family do to receive this $21 million that the House Oversight Committee has proven? He just continues to say, well, that's a lie. That's not true. We have their bank records, Maria. Right. Bank records don't lie.
Congressman, when are you expecting to subpoena Joe and Hunter Biden?
Well, we want to talk to about 3 or 4 more associates first. We've been communicating with a couple of them.
We're trying to bring them in just like we did Devin Archer for a transcribed interview. If they don't come in voluntarily, then they'll be subpoenaed. So this is taking a lot longer. But if you look at how the special counsel, Durham or other special counsels conducted investigations, I think our committee is going a whole lot faster than any other congressional committee in history and any other special counsel.
Yeah.
This is a complicated case, and we're being obstructed every step of the way by the Department of Justice, by the FBI, by the Secret Service, by the IRS, and by the Biden family attorneys.
Wow.
But that's not stopping us. We continue to produce evidence about every 2 weeks.
This is a bold move, but not hasty, and it's evident that the meticulous Comer, after studying bank records and piecing together financial transactions, believes that he has enough to confront the Bidens directly. The records hint at a network of shell companies funneling millions, possibly acquired through international business deals, to the pockets of the Biden family. Amidst our unfolding story, there's an analogy that we can't ignore. Imagine a night of perfect rest, sound sleep, where everything fades away. The solace is escape. It reminds us of one of our sponsors. Just as Michael Lindell, the visionary behind MyPillow, guarantees Americans serene nights, we must awaken to the reality around us. With MyPillow, you're not just asleep, you're at peace. And isn't it possible that, in a similar vein, the Bidens wish their financial stories to remain undisturbed? With the Giza Dream sheets and the mattresses topper, your comfort is unmatched. But remember, even in comfort, we mustn't become complacent to the truth. Use promo code NNN for an exclusive discount at sleepwithgary.com. That's NNN at sleepwithgary.com. But back to our primary concern, the Bidens. The entire premise of Comer's investigation focuses on the claim that President Biden and his family, including his son Hunter Biden, have been involved in questionable business dealings with foreign corporations, potentially leveraging this position of Vice President Biden for monetary benefit. If the allegations hold any water, they will incredibly be damaging for the current administration, especially with reflection on the horizon. The media's coverage, or lack thereof, plays an intriguing role in this unfolding narrative. Mainstream media has mostly given the Oversight Committee's probe a cold shoulder, only occasionally surfacing news like Hunter's recent collapsed plea deal concerning tax crimes. While President Biden denies any wrongdoing or involvement in his son's affairs, the case's infamous nature only grows as time passes. The revelations don't stop there. According to Comer, the Oversight Committee has unveiled records pointing to a whopping $21 million earned by the Biden family from foreign firms seeking an inroad to Washington during Biden's vice presidency. The conduit? Rosemont Seneca Thornton, a shell company between Biden and his associate, Devin Archer, a firm that, as Comer puts it, received vast amounts from people who can be best described as crooks. Bank records, often the most telling pieces of evidence in financial investigations, seem to be the linchpin in Comer's confidence. We have their bank records, and bank records don't lie, he emphasized recently. But in the volatile world of politics, the road from allegations to conclusive evidence is long and winding. The revelations surrounding the Biden family are more than just a political skirmish. It's a matter of transparency, integrity, and the trust the American people place in their elected leaders. If the allegations bear out, they threaten the very core of American democracy, proving that even the highest offices aren't immune to political misuse. As we approach another election, this story serves as the poignant reminder, and it calls upon every American to stay informed, question, and demand accountability. It's not about political leanings, it's about sanctity of the nation's fabric. And as this investigation unfolds, America watches, hoping for clarity, truth, and above all, justice. Lifeguards from Human Chain? Well, what is this all about? Let us know, Angie.
Florida lifeguards showcased incredible heroism when they formed a human chain to rescue a boogie boarder trapped in a dangerous rip current. The remarkable incident, captured on drone footage by local Joe Osborne, exhibits the lifeguards' swift, coordinated response to the emergency. As the boogie boarder was swept further from the shore, lifeguards linked together using their buoys to pull him safely to land. The video serves as a stark reminder of the unpredictable power of the ocean and the crucial role lifeguards play in beach safety. As beachgoers, it's a call for heightened vigilance against nature's formidable currents. Dive deeper, get the whole story by tapping the link in our bio. There is a heartbreaking wildfire raging in Maui. Let's go to Elijah for more.
In a tragic twist, paradise has been lost. The Hawaiian island of Maui, a beacon for travelers and a home for thousands, has been ravaged by flames. At least 53 souls have been taken, and that number keeps growing. The heart of Hawaii, its historic town of Lanai, where tourists once filled its streets with joy, is now a mere memory. And for those who escaped, the ocean became their refuge, their solace from the burning fires. As we delve deeper into this catastrophic event, it's not just the buildings or the land that have been lost, it's a piece of history, culture, and memories. So stay with us and brace yourselves for the details, because you don't want to miss this profound revelations that we've uncovered, especially our final thought on how this all affects us. For the residents of Maui, it started as any other day, but soon the skies were painted in shades of amber and gray as the devastating wildfire spreads its wings. One airline passenger shared a bird's eye view of the wildfires that ravaged Maui with AccuWeather. Take a look. Wow. As of now, the reported death toll stands at 53, and heartbreakingly, officials expect it to surge even higher. Calamity is set to be Hawaii's most devastating natural disaster since the 1961 tsunami, which took 61 lives on the Big Island. The visual evidence showcase of harrowing tale, before and after photos lay bare the scale. Wow, that's incredible. The scale of the devastation, presenting a landscape irrevocably changed. Almost 300 structures, many of them echoing the rich history of Hawaii, stand destroyed. Streets that once bustled with tourists eager to explore Maui's historic charms are now nothing but ashes. Lanai, a historical gem of the island, has been especially hard hit. Over 1,000 structures in this iconic area have been decimated, and Governor Josh Green aptly summarized the situation, stating that Lanai, with a few rare exceptions, has been burned down. The debris, blackened foundations, and the still smoldering remains of boats in the harbor are all painful reminders of what once was. Yet, even amidst such destruction, tales of human resilience and spirit emerge. Residents recounted the unimaginable heat generated by the fires, so intense that the only respite was the ocean's embrace. The Coast Guard played a pivotal role in rescuing and relocating more than 50 people who, in a desperate bid for survival, ran into the ocean seeking sanctuary from the soaring flames. Their homes, their belongings, and their memories may have been consumed, but their spirit remains indomitable. But let's pause for a moment as the world changes around us unpredictably, from the ferocity of nature to economic or political unrest. Isn't it our duty to be prepared? Whether it's a wildfire in Hawaii or unforeseen crisis closer to home, we must ensure our family's safety and well-being. This is why I urge you to consider My Patriot Supply's offer. They're offering 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food kit. Think of it as a safety net, ensuring your loved ones are taken care of in times of uncertainty. And let's be real, in our ever-changing world, it's not a matter of if these crises will be hit, but when. Secure this peace of mind by visiting preparewithgary.com. And with preparation in mind, let's refocus on Maui's situation. The aftermath of the fires points a bleak picture. Many of the survivors are grappling with a harsh reality. Although they made it out alive, their homes, their neighborhoods, and the life that they knew have been obliterated. The emotional scars, much like the scorched earth, will take time to heal. And every disaster, every tragedy leaves behind not just physical scars, but emotional ones. And while buildings can be rebuilt and towns recover, it's the stories of loss, resilience, and human spirit that truly resonate. The Maui fires are a brutal reminder of nature's fury, but they're also a testament to human courage, unity, and the will to survive. As we watch from afar, it's easy to feel disconnected, yet it's crucial for all Americans to recognize the broader implications of such events. Whether it's wildfires in Hawaii or challenges elsewhere, we must remain united, prepared, and resilient, because ultimately it's not just about one island or community, but about the collective strength and resolve of the American people. Let the tale of Maui inspire us to be vigilant, to be kind, and most importantly, to be there for each other. Let's check back in with Angie for more details on Trump's decision about GOP debate.
Donald Trump, the 45th president, is mulling over attending the GOP presidential primary debate on August 23rd, but has firmly refused to sign the party's loyalty pledge. He cited reservations about endorsing certain candidates on the list, expressing concerns in an interview with Newsmax's Eric Bolling. Though he declined to specify the candidates he wouldn't support, he dismissed the notion that his reluctance is due to fear of confrontation. Despite polling at an impressively high numbers, Trump ponders the value of participating in the debate. His decision remains a focal point in global political anticipation as he continues to exert significant influence in American politics. Trump's choice will undoubtedly have ramifications for the Republican Party's landscape. Dive deeper, get the whole story by tapping the link in our bio. And now to Elijah with messages from you, the viewers.
It's time for one of our most engaging segments, Prime Tweets. Last week, we posed a crucial question to you all on social media, asking, considering the recent $40 billion budget proposal, Manchin's potential party switch, rising inflation, the Biden family's financial probe, and Maui's tragedy, where do you think America's priorities should lie? The response was overwhelming. Let's dive right into some of your insights. First up, Kirk Snyder 6190 says, how about returning America back to America? Land of the free and home of the brave. Bill of Rights, law and order, free economy, mom, woman, and dad man, America. The sentiment here is clear. Many feel that traditional values are being sidelined, and it's about preserving the fundamental freedoms that made our nation great. Next, Joseph Vasquez 7046 chimed in with, removing the clown show from the Oval Office and letting a true patriot in its place with great energy and independence as the forefront of the agenda, everything else falls into place. Trump for president. Joseph, energy independence has been a hot button topic and it's important to national security, and prosperity can't be overstated. From the Patriot 87, how about we do away with the one world idea and take care of Americans first? We are so concerned with others that we keep forgetting our own people. A reminder, indeed, that charity begins at home and that our focus should be on building a stronger nation for all Americans. Larry Crash 5505 says, keep it succinct with the border, the economy. Let's go, Brandon. The border and economy are top concerns for many. Larry, the call for clear, impactful policies is resounding across the nation. Lastly, Paul Sigmund 7263 said, had a pointed remark. Registered Democrats should all pay double taxes for doubling our gas, food, and everything they're doing. Perhaps then they might understand their policy impacts. We are praying for Democrat policy that never works in favor, or that works in favor of hardworking Americans. The effects of policies on everyday life can't be ignored. Paul, your perspective highlights the need for policies that directly benefit hardworking Americans. Thank you all for participating in Prime Tweets segment. It's always enlightening to hear directly from you. Now let's switch gears a bit for our next segment, looking at you, where we shed light on the heartbreaking event happening in Maui. You won't want to miss this, so stay tuned. In the face of Maui's devastating fires, the world stops and stares. Hawaii's jewel, an island celebrated for its pristine beaches and verdant expanses, is now scarred by flames and grief. So tonight we are looking at you, the people of Maui. Our heart weighs heavy. 53 souls were snuffed out in the instant, leaving behind anguish that words cannot capture. With each billow of smoke, we're reminded of dreams cut short, of families torn apart, and of paradise lost. Just look at the devastation. Yet as the world looks at you, it's not just the destruction that comes into focus. Amidst the charred ruins and heart-wrenching loss, we see a community bonded in sorrow and resilience. We watch neighbors supporting neighbors, strangers becoming family. The people of Maui, as we look at you, we don't just see the wrath of nature, we see the strength of humanity. In your darkest hour, your spirit remains unbroken, and the world stands with you. As we close tonight's episode of N3 Primetime, let's reflect on the stories that have swept across our great nation. From the staggering $40 billion budget proposal revealing deep divides and priorities, to Senator Manchin's possible departure from party lines signaling an awakening against the perils of partisanship, inflation rates ascend, tightening the noose around the average American's neck, while the Biden family probe reminds us that transparency remains a cornerstone of trust. And through the heartbreak in Maui, we are reminded of the spirit of resilience, unity, and community. It isn't just news, it's a portrait of America at a crossroads, testing our resolve and principles. Each story paints a picture reminding us why our vigilance, our discussions, and our understanding matter. These are the moments that define us, moments that demand our engagement, and as we move forward, it's not just about being informed, it's about understanding the very soul of our nation. I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to Angie for her invaluable news briefs tonight, and to our dedicated viewers and everyone participating in the live chat. Your engagement makes these conversations more enriching. Just as our stories tonight emphasize the importance of resilience and foresight in turbulent times, our sponsor, Noble Gold Investments, reminds us the unwavering stability of gold. In a world where our dollar has seen an 85% dip in value since the 70s, investing in gold is like anchoring ourselves amidst the nation's financial storms. For those considering this precious asset, Noble Gold Investments offers a free quarter-ounce gold standard coin. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com or ring 1-877-646-5347. They're the gold beacon I rely upon in the financial fog. Thank you all for tuning in, and remember, it's through connecting, sharing, and building this community of informed citizens that we can indeed make America great. If today's show resonated with you, share the world, and let's grow this family. I'm Elijah Schaefer, and my mission is not just to guide you to empower you to lead, but to empower you to lead. Good night, America, and have a great rest of the week.